Good morning, students. In the chapter The Cell, the next topic that we will be learning today is parts of animal and plant cell. Plants and animals are made up of millions of cells, and these cells have several similarities and differences. Structurally, plants and animal cells are very similar because they are both eukaryotic cells. They both contain membrane-bound organelles. They also contain similar membranes, cytosol, and cytoskeletal elements. However, the few differences that exist between the plants and animals are very significant and reflects in the difference in the function of each cell. Now, we shall study the parts of cell. A eukaryotic cell typically consists of cell wall, plasma membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. And within the cytoplasm lies the intricate arrangement of fine fibers which constitutes the cytoskeleton. And the distinct structures are called as organelles. Now we shall study about each of them. Now we will be studying about the cell wall. The cell wall is the outermost structure of the plant cell. It is mainly composed of carbohydrates such as cellulose, pectin, hemicellulose, lignin, and certain fatty substances like waxes. The cell wall consists of 3 layers, and they are the middle lamella, the primary cell wall, and the secondary cell wall. The middle lamella is the layer present between two adjacent cells. It is deposited at the time of cytokinesis. And the cell wall which is formed immediately after the cell division inner to the middle lamella constitutes the primary cell wall. An additional layer which is added to the inner surface of primary cell wall at a later stage is called as the secondary cell wall. The cell wall supports and protects the cell and gives a rigid shape to the cell. Animal cells do not have cell walls, thus it does not have a rigid shape. The next part of the cell is plasmodesmata. In plant cells, there are tunnels running through the cell wall, which are called as the plasmodesmata. The main function of it is to allow communication with other cells. The next part is the plasma membrane. Every animal cell is bounded by an extremely thin and delicate membrane which is called as plasma membrane. The plasma membrane is also called as the cell membrane. In animal cell, the cells are bounded by plasma membrane because they do not have cell wall. While in plant cells, the plasma membrane occurs inner to the cell wall bounding the cytoplasm. It consists of a continuous bilayer of lipid molecules with protein molecules embedded in them, as you can see in this picture. The plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane and its function is to control selectively the entrance and exit of materials. The next part that we will be studying is the cytoplasm. The plasma membrane is followed by the cytoplasm, which is distinguished into the cytosol and cytoplasmic structures. First, we shall study about the cytosol. The plasma membrane is followed by a colloidal organic fluid, which is called as the cytosol or the matrix. It is the aqueous portion of the cytoplasm and fills all the spaces of the cells. The cytosol of the cell also contains fibers that help to maintain the cell shape. These fibers are collectively called as the cytoskeleton. The next important component of the cytoplasm is the cytoplasmic structures. In the cytoplasmic matrix, certain structures remain suspended. These structures are called as cytoplasmic inclusions and cytoplasmic organelles. So, the stored food and secretory substances of the cell, which remain suspended in the cytosol in the form of granules, forms the cytoplasmic inclusions, while several membrane-bounded structures that remain suspended in the cytosol constitutes the cytoplasmic organelles of the cell. Now we shall be studying about each of the cytoplasmic organelles. The first organelle that we will be studying is mitochondria. Mitochondria are small oval structures. They are bounded by two membranes with the inner membrane folded extensively to form the cristae. The inner mitochondrial membrane and the mitochondrial matrix contains enzymes that releases energy from food. They provide energy by breaking down the carbohydrate and sugar molecules. Hence, they are also referred to as the powerhouse of the cell. The mitochondria contains DNA and ribosomes as well. The next organelle is the ribosome. Ribosomes are tiny, spheroidal, dense particles. Ribosomes occur freely in the cytoplasm, and it is also found to be attached to the outer surface of the rough endoplasmic reticulum, as you can see in this picture. Other than which, ribosomes are also present in the mitochondrial matrix. Ribosomes are the sites of protein synthesis, and the proteins are used to repair and build new cells and to carry out other functions of the cells. Ribosomes of the eukaryotic cells are of ATS type, and they are composed of two subunits, as you can see in this picture, which is the 40S subunit, which is the smaller subunit, and the 60S subunit, which is the larger subunit. The next organelle is the endoplasmic reticulum. It is an irregular network of tubes present in the cytoplasm. Its main function is to produce and transport substances through the cell. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum, which is rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. In rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are present on the surface, and it is responsible for protein synthesis in the cells. While smooth endoplasmic reticulum does not have any ribosomes on them. You can see both rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum in this picture. The next organelle is the Golgi bodies. Golgi body is a series of flattened sacs, usually curled at their edges. It consists of smooth cisternae, which often are stacked together in parallel rows. It is surrounded by spherical membrane-bound vesicles. The main function of the Golgi body is to process and modify proteins and to package them in the form of vesicles for their transport. The next organelle is the lysosomes. Lysosomes are present in both animal and plant cells. In animal cells, it contains many tiny spheroid or irregular shaped membrane bounded vesicles which are known as lysosomes. It contains numerous hydrolytic digestive enzymes, whereas the lysosomes of plant cells are membrane bounded storage granules containing hydrolytic digestive enzymes. They digest the materials taken in by the process of endocytosis. Also, they digest the worn out organelles of the cell and the extracellular substances. And the process of the digestion is shown in this picture. The next component of a cell is vacuoles. The cytoplasm of animal cell contains numerous small liquid-filled structure which are called as vacuoles. Whereas a plant cell contains a single large vacuole which is bounded by a semi-permeable membrane which is known as the tonoplast. The vacuoles store food and waste materials. The next organelle is plastids. Plastids occur only in plant cells. They are absent in the animal cells. They contain pigments and may synthesize and accumulate various substances. Plastids are of different types. Some of them are leucoplast, amyloplast, proteinoplast, elaioplast, and chromoplast. Leucoplasts are colorless plastids and store food in the form of starch, proteins, and fats. Amyloplasts are plastids that produce starch. Proteinoplast accumulates proteins. Elaioplast stores fats and essential oils. Whereas chromoplast contain pigment molecules and are colored organelles. The green colored chromoplasts are called as chloroplast. It contains chlorophyll pigment and it is involved in photosynthesis. The next component of the cell is peroxisome. These are tiny circular membrane-bound organelles containing a crystal core of enzymes. These enzymes are required for the detoxification activity. And the next component is centrosome. Centrosomes are found only in animal cell. Centrosomes are organelles which serve as main microtubule organizing centers for animal cells. A centrosome with a pair of centriole is located near the nucleus. It plays an important role in cell division. And the last organelle of the cell, but the most important organelle, is the nucleus. The nucleus is a membrane-bound spherical structure found in the cytoplasm. The nucleus is separated from the cytoplasm by nuclear membrane, which is also called as the nuclear envelope. The nuclear envelope is perforated with holes which are called as nuclear pores that allows the proteins and nucleic acids to pass through them. The nucleus is filled with a jelly-like substance which is called as the nucleoplasm. The nucleus contains long thread-like structures which are called as the chromosomes, which contains the gene. The genes carry information that is required for the functioning of the cell. The genes are the ones which also carry the genetic information. The vital function of the nucleus is to store DNA or the hereditary information required for cell division, metabolism, and growth. These are the pictures of a typical animal and a plant cell with the parts or the organelles that they have. By this, we come to the end of parts of animal and plant cell. Thank you, students.